Well, hello everybody. This is Dr. Novak again. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here. I was sent in the comments. Someone said that did I ever see Skeptical Aquatics? No, I've never seen Skeptical Aquatics, but I went and looked, and I was surprised. I just watched a video called "Kudos to Skeptical Aquatics" by Discus North, who did the video, YouTube channel. And this Discus North talks about father fish, something I did not know. Maybe you don't know it, so I thought it would bring it up. I'll leave a link below if you want to watch the video. It's some very, very distraughting news about father fish. I never knew. I don't know father fish. He's made comments sometimes on some of my videos, and I know nothing about the guy. He has a special way of making aquariums with a deep sand bed, as a lot of us probably know. When he uses dirt and sand and other things he makes to make a nice thick sand bed. He makes no qualms that you have to use like 75% of your tank has to be plants. Okay, he makes no qualms about it. Okay, and if that's your cup of tea, then it's something to use. And I always tell people, no matter what method you want to use, there's lots of them out there, but no matter what method you want to use, if you're having success with it, don't stop it. Now, I know that goes across the grain of what people think, like, why would you say that? Aren't you promoting your YouTube way of doing things? And no, I'm more of an educational channel. I'm not really. I tell you what is being taught in our universities and colleges for students and higher learning. That's basically what I teach you, and how to do it, and how to implement it the simplest and cheapest way possible. So, there are a lot of ways, as they would say, to skin a cat. And I think everybody has to understand that, because we definitely learned our lesson during the pandemic, as you remember with COVID, how they forced vaccinations on people. And President Biden at the time said he would not mandate vaccine shots. Yet he mandated them, and people lost their jobs. We lost a lot of good military nurses who would not take the shot. And that proved that a lot of doctors out there who were shadow banned and thrown off of mediums such as Facebook's or any other medium that was out there, when they said there are other ways of handling the pandemic. Even our own governor made monoclonal antibody centers that helped 175,000 people get over COVID, and yet those were closed down because the president closed them down. But we found out, there was hydroxychloroquine, there was other drugs that we could have taken that would have helped people who got COVID. But it was all kept quiet, just so they could push an agenda of us getting a shot, if we all remember. And we all remember that the shots didn't work. They didn't stop you from getting COVID. They didn't stop you from spreading COVID. And they didn't stop others from getting COVID. They basically did nothing. So when they took these shots and they banned all the alternative medicine that was there, and doctors who would open up their mouth and say, we could use this or this or this, and proved it by going into the elderly homes and saving hundreds of people's lives. The government didn't want to hear it during the COVID. We learned a lot of lessons through there, that there's more than one way to handle pandemics. And we also found out that, Fauci just made up stuff. 6 foot, wear mask, that didn't work. A virus goes through a mask, like shit through a goose. It's not going to help with the virus. It's too small. But we were told that. We were led to believe that we should stay in our houses instead of go outside and get vitamin D. That was one of the things that helped fight the virus. We really learned a lot from that, and a lot of people are saying no more. We won't put up with that kind of stuff anymore. If there's alternative medicines we could use, I want a choice of what I want to use in my body. As people say, my body, my choice. But that's the same way with this hobby. It's your hobby, it's your choice. What do you want to use? What system do you want to use? How do you want to implement it? You want a bare tank? Like my antique aquarium is basically a bare bottom aquarium, and it's been running for years and years and years with nothing but an anoxic filter and a canister. You want to run your tank that way. You want to run your tank with a plenum. You want to run your tank with father fish. But I was really surprised. Now, this guy in Discus North, he talks about father fish getting YouTube channels shadow banned that talk about fish if it doesn't fall in line with his way of thinking. And that's exactly what he says. And I'm thinking, Father Fish is pretty old. What does he care? I know he owns a business, but I'm thinking, what does he care what other people are going to say? He's pretty old. It's like, when you get older, it's time to pass the baton on to younger people. That's what you do when you get older. You educate them, and then you let the educated ones that you have educated go on and carry on with maybe what you have taught them. But to shadow ban people, because all this time he's talking about in his thing, it says, all this time, I was wondering why people are not watching my channel. Me, I've been doing this since 2014. And I was wondering why people really aren't signing up to my channel. If I've been doing this since 2014, I only have about 17,500 viewers, who have signed up, because people don't sign up. You have a lot of people watching, but they don't sign up, and everybody knows that YouTube looks at that, and the algorithm is based off of how many people have signed up, how many people watch, and where you get placed in the pecking order of YouTube channels. And I was wondering that, hey, I've been doing this 2014. That's not very many followers. And I'm not one of those people, which we all know, that turn around and constantly are begging people. And I'm getting sick of it. I'm sure you are. Oh, please sign up to my channel. And don't forget to put a like. And don't forget to ring the bell. It's like, come on. Okay, cut it out already. We've heard this 150,000 times. Stop it. We know we're supposed to do this. Everybody knows that. We weren't, born last night. We're not new to the planet Earth or to YouTube. So I really don't say that. Usually I'll say it at the end of the channel, subscribe. But I don't say that at the beginning of the channel or in the middle of the channel like a lot of these people. To me, it's like they're begging now. Please, and they know why, because they want to make money, and the algorithm's going to look at how many people they got signed up, and that's how you make your money, with the more people that sign up. And I don't make much money. I think this month alone I paid like $120. That was it. You don't make much off of YouTube. Don't expect to make a lot unless you are going to pump out videos every single day or 4 times a day, like a news channel that just repeats the news out there. You're not going to make a lot of money off of YouTube. It's just a pastime. It's got to be something that you love to do. And me, because I just kind of teach people, it's something I love to do, and it's not really the money. So I'm not worried about the money. I did a test once, and I did a video just to find out what's going on. And I used the same name as another YouTube channel that gets a lot of hits and made a YouTube like what they did. And then when I looked it up on YouTube, it was nowhere to be found. You would see their video and other videos, mine was nowhere to be found. Well, if I was using the same wording and everything, so if you go on YouTube and say, I want to know about skimmers, and then it will show you YouTube channels about people that talk about skimmers, okay? I wasn't there. I'm just using that as an example. And nowhere in the lineup. I'm wondering, why is my YouTube not showing up? If I'm using the same wording to catch YouTube, so the algorithm catches skimmers, why am I not showing up? So that's what this Discus North is talking about. That's shadow banning. Somebody is banning the YouTube that you're doing to help promote theirs. And he also talks about that he may get like 1,500 hits. Same as me. You get maybe 1,500 hits because there's so many YouTube channels out there with aquariums today. Everybody and their brother's making a new YouTube channel about aquariums, fish tanks, filter, you name it. They're all doing it. And I look, yeah, that's about what I get. Maybe, 700, 1,500 views. And you look at someone like Father Fish, I looked at one of his, he had 11,000 views. So they really were beating up on Father Fish, sending the guy said like sending his minions out to badmouth people who sign up to the channel and make them feel bad, or getting their post that they make deleted, and then the people get mad saying, why is it I said something and it's been deleted? And people have done that to me. And I write them back and say, I didn't delete your post. I don't know what happened to it. I didn't even read it. I don't know nothing about your post. I don't know what happened. I have no clue. Well, apparently this guy is talking about that, where he goes in and his people complain to YouTube about offensive, someone did something offensive, therefore I'm making a complaint. And YouTube takes the post down that the people made. And therefore, the people get distraught that it happened to them, and they say, well, heck with you. I'm not going to, sign up for your YouTube channel. Forget you, And that's what this guy is complaining about. And Father Fish is doing it. And I have no qualms about Father Fish. I know nothing about the guy or anything. He has a way of doing things. I have a way of doing things. Everybody has a way of doing things. And we would like you as hobbyists to pick out which one you would like. Like I said, mine's just a learning channel. I know a lot of these channels are people who have businesses. So for them, maybe it's a little more competitive. And I'll tell you a true story, and I know that's true. There was a guy who owned a business who made a comment that, if you use laterite, it's going to turn your pond all orange. So I traced down who the guy was who was making this claim. I've never had this happen. Never had it happen. Never had anyone I helped happen who used laterite. Where was he coming up with this? So I found out even where the guy lived, he owned a pond business. So I went up to him. I said, you made a comment that laterite's going to turn your pond all orange if you use it and with your water lilies. I said, all it is iron. I said, it's funny. Where did you get that kind of information at? Well, I made it up because I have a business and I don't want people using an anoxic filter. He made it up, just made it up so people wouldn't use it. And I know there are people who are vindictive like that, that don't want information to come out, so they make up stuff. It's very common on YouTube. It's very common when you do ponds. They just make up stuff. So you won't use it. So you will buy their product. And I've had that happen to me. People get mad and upset. I show products on my YouTube channel. One guy tried to get it demonetized, the YouTube channel. I found out he's from overseas. He owns a business. And the product he's selling that I talked about, okay, where an independent laboratory tested it and claimed it did something. And I said, no, it doesn't do what it claimed. Well, it was in it, and that's why you demonetized it. Well, Super X was that way. Super X, when it first came out, made all these outrageous claims about their products, that it could do denitrification and you only needed a box no bigger than a shoebox full of it in your pond, and it would do all these miracle wonder things with denitrification and have anoxic conditions in it. And you know, it's still being sold today by Sarah. But, you know, does it do it? And will it do it to any extent to really help anybody? No. But they made all these videos and claims because people were selling the product and wanted to sell it. And it's a very expensive product. But you don't hear about it much anymore. But back then, you know, oh, it was tested in Germany and it does this and this, and we tested it, and, you know, people were coming up that it didn't work. That happens no matter what, that it didn't work. And you will sometimes have people who are skeptic, well, whether they use Father Fish's system, my system, the other systems that are out there, dirt systems. There's a lot that people use. Sand, they throw sand at the bottom of the aquarium. And there's always a way of doing it, and a correct way. And I've showed you aquariums, professional aquariums, public aquariums, big, huge aquariums like that of Florida Aquarium here, where they do have saltwater aquariums that they throw the sand at the bottom. But 4 times a week they go in there and stir all that bottom up so it doesn't start producing ammonia. Now, this is a professional aquarium. I showed a video on it. I show the guy doing it, and he talks about it, why they have to do it. So it's no different in your fish tank, because basically a professional aquarium is nothing but big fish tanks that they have their animals in, just like what we have, fish tanks. So he was saying this is what we have to do to prevent ammonia buildup, and they have to keep checking those tanks every single day to keep their animals alive, because they're being visited by, you know, thousands and thousands of visitors every day. They don't want to see a tank all messed up with algae and dead fish or dead animals. That, though they do lose animals. But anyhow, he talks about a video from Skeptical Aquatics that's called Info Dump on the Life Story of Father Fish. So apparently the Skeptical Aquatics went into Father Fish, but he said that Father Fish gives people information that will kill your fish. He also says the information that Father Fish gives is all misinformation, and it's dangerous to be listening to him. He uses buzzwords, and it's very predatory of what Father Fish has done and how other YouTube channels are falling behind because of his predatory nature. Predatory nature, what he's talking about, I just explained that with I guess the guy, you know, his minions come and start bad-mouthing other YouTube channels, because it is kind of funny. Father Fish does a YouTube and he's got 11,000, and other people do a YouTube and you're lucky if you get 1,000 people watching it. And I know there's a lot of YouTube channels out there, so something's going on. And that's what this guy is complaining about. Now, I myself know nothing about Father Fish. I'm just letting you know that someone told me to watch this in the comments and to see what I thought about Skeptical Aquatics, and found out about Discus North that talks about one of Skeptical Aquatics videos. And I don't know anything about it. I'm going to be honest with you. But I do know, I'm an audiophile too. And I do know there are people who make amplifiers. And she makes amplifiers. Her name's Skunky. She makes amplifiers, and other people can copy with her schematics on how to make an amplifier, okay? And she makes them. She shows you how to make this amplifier. She does YouTube videos, shows you what the layout is, and then people will get her schematics and they'll make an amplifier. Then they call her up and say, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. This is a piece of crap. This amplifier has all kinds of distortion. It's got this. It's a piece of garbage. And she says, when it comes to electronics, you have to follow the schematics and how she does it. You have to follow it to a T. Because in electronics, some things, if you don't put them in the right spot, they decide they're going to change the way they do it, the way she has designed it. They're going to change it and put this tube in this place and change the way it looks. And she says, you're going to mess it up. Electronics is not simple. It's the same way with aquariums. Everybody tells you how to make aquariums. You have to follow the directions of how they tell you to make the system and how to make it work. Okay, but a lot of people don't. Well, if I can use this, then I can use this instead of. And I get a lot of people asking, oh, can I use this instead of? Yeah, you could use that instead of. You don't need to use a kitty litter. You can use Zeolite if you want. Yeah, okay, because I've tested that. Other people have come up and say, well, I can't get kitty litter or Zeolite, but I get vermiculite. Can I use? No, you can't use vermiculite. Unfortunately, no, you cannot use vermiculite. It won't work, So you have to tell people that, and they'll ask questions because they'll want to change it because they don't know. But I just use that one as an example with the electronics, because things have to be done the way people say you're supposed to do it. And if it doesn't work, is it that you did exactly to a T the way they told you to do it? Or did you vary it and not contact the YouTuber and say, hey, I want to vary this. Is this okay? Can I vary it because I can't do it your way? And like with Father Fish, he requires you have 75% plants. They got to be rooted plants. The YouTuber, Discus North, makes mention of that, by the way, you have to have rooted plants in order to make his system work. Now, there are people out there who are great with the system, but I don't understand why Father Fish would do this to people, or why people who follow him would do this to other YouTube channels. I don't understand. YouTube channels are opening and closing all the time. I see it, you see it. And to start trying to steal or take away people from signing up to a YouTube channel and making comments, so they pull your comments off because they wanted to say, it offends me, to YouTube. And then YouTube gets this, like the guy Discus North was saying, he can't get his channel monetized. YouTube won't allow his channel to be monetized. And I know that you have to have so many followers before you can even become monetized on YouTube to even make any money. You're not, like I said, you're not going to make a lot, but I don't know how many thousands of followers you need. I don't know if it's 2,000, 3,000 followers today that you need to even monetize a YouTube channel. Otherwise, if you don't have people signing up to your channel, you can't get it monetized until you hit YouTube's minimum amount of people that signed up to your channel. And if nobody signs up, well, you can be doing YouTube channels from now until the cows come home, and you're not going to make any money or anything. And like I said, I've been doing this from 2014. I made hundreds and hundreds of YouTube, and a lot of them I did not get paid for, because you have to build a repertoire so people will start watching your channel and maybe even sign up to your channel. And I know some of these YouTube channels now, I think Aquarium Co-op, I think he's up to almost like 1 million followers. Once again, though, he owns a business. So a lot of these businesses who have YouTube channels are very high in their followers, where guys like me and other people like this Discus North and maybe this Skeptical Aquatics, they don't have the people, because a lot of people, as we all know, they watch, they're not going to sign up. They're not going to give you a like. They're not going to ring the bell. They're not going to say, yeah, let me know when the next video comes out. They're not going to do it. Okay, there's nothing you can do. And it's a huge percentage of people that do that. A huge percentage. If they all signed up, man, I would have, 50, 60,000 people already. But they don't. And it's just the way YouTube is. People aren't going to sign up. But I don't get this. If this is true, what this guy is claiming of what Father Fish is doing, that is really upsetting news. At least it's upsetting to me, because I've been doing this so long, that somebody would do that to another YouTube channel. As long as a YouTube channel leaves me alone or doesn't, start bad-mouthing you or anything, let them go. Let them do their channel. Let them do their thing. If they say, oh, I don't like the anoxic filter, okay, you don't like it. That's fine. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, you don't want to talk about it. But when you give disinformation about something, then you got to set somebody straight. Like the nitrogen cycle, for example. There's a lot of disinformation out there. And if you watch my YouTube channel, you find out exactly what is being taught in our universities, how the nitrogen cycle works. And it doesn't work by water changes. It works by, breaking down ammonia by oxidizers. Then it goes into nitrites. Then it goes into nitrates. Then nitrates are used up with bacteria that live in anoxic conditions, which use up nitrates and phosphates and steal its oxygen. That is the complete nitrogen cycle. That is the way it works. And in our aquariums, we can replicate that in natural ponds. Because if I test out a pond, which I got some ponds here I have to test out, I have to see if that nitrogen cycle is being completed. Or is it just full of nitrates and phosphates? I have to do some tests. But this is the way natural systems work. I just tell you, this is the way they work. Why not use it in our aquariums? That's all. So I thought I would bring this up. I'll end this YouTube channel. I've went long enough about it that I have no bones to pick with any of the YouTube channels out there. But I really thought, wow, this is something I did not know. That if, just say predatory nature, predatorial nature of Father Fish. He's an old guy. He owns a business. He needs the money that bad at his age. You expect when you're older, like me and Father Fish and some of the other people that are older, you don't need the money that bad. You don't need it. It's so it is what it is. You know, I don't need it that bad, so I do it because it's educational and it's fun. Why would they care? You got to pass the baton. I mean, I'm just being honest. You have to pass the baton to the younger generation, to you guys who are watching this. It's got to be passed on. And when you're successful, then you'll pass on what you have learned to the next person. And that's how it goes. Everybody lives and everybody dies. So that's it for this video. I was very surprised over the video. I was really shocked, to say the least. Anyhow, until next time, this is Dr. Novak. Subscribe to my channel if you like it. If you don't subscribe. And until next time, happy fish keeping.